hear the voice that says that you're not very smart, and you ask it, why did you just say that? And it'll tell you, maybe it'll pull up a receipt from a test result that you got that wasn't very good. Maybe it will recite criticism that you got from your parents or from your teacher. So now you know where it comes from. Okay, well, maybe it's based on some truth. I don't get very good grades, but also maybe it's based on some criticism, like my parents tell me that I need to work harder and that, whatever it might be. Now you know where it comes from, and you're back in a position of power. Why? You know what caused you to feel this way or believe this about yourself, and now you get to assess that thought. Mean comment from your parents, is that the reason that you said that? Let's say that it is. That's really hurtful. You're allowed to now feel hurt. Comfort yourself. That wasn't very nice that they said that to you. And even if the truth is that you aren't very smart and your grades are bad, even if you work hard, now your mission is that you must practice love with this truth. Being bad at school does not make you unlovable. So now this claim that you are unlovable because of all these things, because you're not smart, because hold on, these things, 2 and 2 doesn't equal 5. So hold on. Being bad at school doesn't make you unlovable, it makes you bad at school, and that's literally all it does. And if that is your truth, you don't have to fear that, because it doesn't mean anything for you. You're allowed to be flawed, and you are still worthy of love. And maybe you're not good at school. And I'm not saying this is true, by the way. I don't know you, but giving you an example. Holding that truth and showing it love gives you the ability to debunk the belief that you are unlovable. And as it turns out, being bad at school and not having the best grades and not being very book smart is actually much less scary than being unlovable. Because not everyone is good at school. I wasn't very good at school. I'm much better in this job, and I love it here. But at one point in time, when I believed that my worth was intricately and infinitely tied into my grades, when I believed my self-worth, my love, my worthiness, my currency to be okay and survive the world was so intricately woven into my success at school, I would have also equated bad grades to not being maybe as worthy of certain things as other people, maybe not being worthy of as much grace, and maybe just being, and it sounds awful, worthless as a human being than one of my peers who was much smarter than me. And looking back, that was ridiculous. But at the time, absolutely that's how I felt. A lot of the time, I think that these feelings and these fears are a lot scarier until we actually just inquire. And then it's like Scooby-Doo, where they rip the mask off of the monster, and it's a silly little human being. And it's a lot like that with, I think, emotions. And you might have this big, great fear that you're unlovable, and if you dare to metaphorically rip this monster mask off of this belief, and see who's underneath this belief, it's probably a really small, very fragile version of yourself. And the great thing about that is that you are always deserving of a bit of compassion and a little bit of love and a hug. And you look at yourself and you think, God, is that where this belief is really coming from? That's not so big and that's not so scary. And this is a version of me who's believing this thing I can take care of, because they're a lot smaller than me and their voice is shaking. And you can give them a hug and say, I know you feel that way. I feel that way. It hurts me that I feel that way. I don't think that it means what I thought it meant, though, and I don't think it's such a scary thing, and I don't think that it's so detrimental anymore. And I think that now that I've seen the truth, I can work with that, and I can, next time I hear a voice that says that I'm unlovable, I know where it's coming from, and I can start to debunk this myth about myself. One thing I've learned is that you can only go so wrong by telling the truth, because any feeling you ever have about yourself, the truth behind it can only be so terrifying. It really can. And what's scarier is the life choices that you might end up making if you let these beliefs about yourself go unchecked, unloved, and then you give them the power to make decisions on your behalf. And this doesn't just extend to relationships. This extends to every different area of your life that you could ever possibly imagine. I promise you. And that's why I said earlier that someone like this boy, who is mostly irrelevant but acts as a catalyst in your life, is so valuable, because yes, it hurts, and if you can look past the exact context, if you can stop getting lost in the source of social politics and how you feel about this one person and how you feel about this one girl, is so much deeper and is so much more valuable, and eventually you'll move away and you'll forget about this boy. And time heals all wounds. It's